In today's Leeds news, Leeds PSR success revealed, club withdraws John Kevin Augustin appeal, and tributes flood in for Stuart Dallas. Morning folks, Jay here, Thursday morning 11th of April with your Leeds United news. Hope you're having a good week. There's not a huge amount of news, but what is in the news is quite substantial. Leeds PSR results have been revealed. We've been waiting for these for a while. Stuart Dallas obviously announcing his retirement yesterday, and we'll get into that at the back end of the video as well. And news coming out today that Leeds have withdrawn their appeal to CAS on the John Kevin Augustin appeal. More detail on that in a second. Also, just a real quick update just to give people notice. Next week will be fine. The news is coming out as normal next week. The week after, I'm in Seattle for work for the entire week. I am going to try and do some content over there, but in the past I've struggled when I've gone there for work to try and manage the time zones and get content out as well with the workload that I have. So just giving people a heads up. Next week as normal. Week after might be trickier. But we'll give you more detail on that as and when it comes. I might try and get some pre-recorded content done before then, so there's some content at least coming out during the week if I'm not around. So last night, Ipswich drew 0-0 with Watford, and all the panic over Leeds' draw the other night seems to have gone away pretty quickly. Leeds now 1 point off the automatic spots and off of the leaders and Ipswich. Same at the games played as Ipswich. 1 point off them with a better goal difference. So still very much on the table for Leeds to get automatic promotion. It's not over yet. Right, let's crack on. We'll get into this. We'll start off with the PSR success revealed. And I'm going to look down quite a bit here. I'll try and throw some graphics above to hide my bald head pointing down at the pages. But there's a lot of detail in this, and I want to make sure I get as much of the detail across as possible and get it accurate as well. As I said, we've been waiting for this for quite a while. We've heard about Leicester's financial misfortunes with PSR. We've heard of Nottingham Forest, Everton's, all the teams that finished above Leeds who broke financial fair play. Which you can now argue ultimately cost Leeds relegation for playing within the rules. Now we've actually seen the result, and it appears that Leeds United did in fact play within the rules. At the top line, Leeds have published operating losses for the period up to June 30, 2023 of £34 million. That was helped by sales of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips in 2023. The document covers financials, as I said, up to the period of June 30th, 2023, and showed operating losses in total of £105.9 million. This was reduced down to £33.7 million by sales amounting to £73.3 million. It says in the report that Leeds United, the group, have successfully operated within the EPL's profit and sustainability regulation. So positive information there. It also goes on to say that turnover during this period rose by £500,000 from £189.2 million to £189.7 million. This is put down to the ticket increases by 22% that happened in that period of time. However, television, broadcasting, merchandise and central distributions all declined slightly during that period compared to the 2022 figures. It goes on to say that the group's prudent financial management and development of squad with depth and youth mean it has the capability to sustain a temporary loss of Premier League status without adjusting its long-term trajectory. The temporary word in this is really important and it is key, because basically it says like if Leeds avoid getting promoted this season, player sales will be needed next season to balance the book as we come into this financial period that we're in now. Will be reflected in this time next year in the books. The report also states that Leeds still owe a considerable amount of money on transfers made up by the previous ownership under Andrea Radz. Leeds owe £190 million in unpaid transfer instalments currently, with £73 million of that due within the next 12 months, so June of 2023 to June of 2024. So we'll see that reflected in next year's financials. What you'll also see reflected in that is the sales of Luis Sinisterra and the sales of Tyler Adams, as well as other player sales and reduction in costs as well, with wages coming down. The incoming funds amount to a measly £2 million, however, in transfer instalments, as the report states that the Calvin Phillips and Rafinha money was all virtually paid up front. So we can put this rumour to bed that Barcelona didn't pay for Rafinha yet. The report states that money was received up front. That goes back to the original claim that Barcelona had bought the player with funds up front. That was part of the agreement to buy the player at a lesser fee than what Chelsea were offering. The accounts show wages rose by 20% during that period due to players coming in to 146 million from 121 million, and 9.5 million pounds was paid out to Jesse Marsh and Javi Gracia in compensation due to their sackings. If Leeds do go up, there is a positive for the players and the coaching staff. There will be a £21.9 million bonus payment spread out across staff, management and players should the club get promoted. It's a positive report. It shows Leeds are in a good financial healthy position. However, the 190 million in owed transfer installments hanging over Leeds is due to the signings that were made last season under Andrea Radz and Victor Orta. They're going to have to manage that now and figure out how they can actually navigate that if they don't get promoted. The goal here is clear: get promoted. That fixes this. The line in the report that says that Leeds' development in the squad with depth of youth means that they have the capabilities to sustain a temporary loss of Premier League football without damaging the club's long-term trajectory. That's a really key point. But if they can get up, it means that this season won't really have had a major impact on Leeds. And also, given the reduced spending during this year, when they go into the following season, that 3-year period in the Premier League, Leeds will be well within that as well. So, and there's a possibility of changes to the profit and sustainability and the FFP regulations as well, due to the Everton situation and the Leicester situation right now. So there is a possibility that that's changing to 85% of your revenue can be spent, taking losses out of the equation completely. Leeds have a pretty high incoming revenue in terms of merchandise sales, ticket sales, all that kind of stuff, Gates. So Leeds could be in a really strong position if they get back to the Premier League if that rule should change. Now, it also benefits all the top 6 clubs massively, which means they're probably going to go out of touch from everybody else. But from a Leeds perspective, it should put Leeds in a much stronger position than a lot of the teams in the lower half of the Premier League. But we've got to get there first. And talking about incoming players and transfers and things that have gone on over the last couple of years, the John Kevin Augustin saga continues to rumble on, but may now be finally coming to an end. According to The Athletic, Leeds have withdrawn their appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport over the settlement that was handed down last year on the John Kevin Augustin transfer. Leeds were appealing CAS's judgment against a 24.5 million compensation package to John Kevin Augustin. It now states that request has been withdrawn. CAS confirmed to The Athletic that Leeds bid to contest an order from FIFA that they pay an 8-figure sum to Augustin over the aborted transfer to Ellen Road in 2020 would not be ruled upon now by its judiciary. FIFA ruled in March 2023 that Leeds were liable for the fee for breach of contract with the player. Leeds tried to use COVID to get out of a deal with John Kevin Augustin and Leipzig and to avoid paying a fee for the player and to cancel the deal based on the season being extended and the dates on the contract. Leeds pulled a fast one on this one, and it now seems like it has spectacularly backfired on Leeds. Leeds owed Leipzig £18 million for the player. Leipzig lodged a successful appeal to FIFA to get that money from Leeds, and a £15 million settlement was agreed upon in December 2023. Augustin's £24.9 million compensation package, though, relates to his £93,000 per week contract that was agreed at the time, plus a £2.5 million signing on bonus that was agreed. The tactic could now potentially cost Leeds a total of £39.5 million in compensation to Leipzig, which has already been paid, and to John Kevin Augustin, should that be paid. Now, the key part on this is The Athletic state that it is not clear whether Leeds' withdrawal of the appeal means that Leeds are committing to paying Augustin the full amount in the settlement. When The Athletic reached out to Leeds United for comment on this, the club have declined to comment on the situation. The Athletic are also waiting on a reply from John Kevin Augustin's agent, who at this point has not responded to a request for comment as well. There may have been some form of a settlement agreed between the two parties. If that happens, usually an NDA is signed, so both sides won't talk about it and they'll move on. I've seen that happen before. We've all heard that happen before in football as well. So if a reduced fee to try and get this moving has been agreed, or a different way of paying it has been sorted, then maybe there won't be any comments from anybody due to an NDA. That's only a possibility. I'm speculating on that as well, but we're pointing at it. Could be gone, could be done and dusted. Might have to hear the end of this, but it's a significant amount of money, especially with Leeds sitting in the Championship. And although they did say a couple of years ago when this started that Leeds had ring fenced that money in order to pay this should they lose the appeal, which you hope has happened. That would be sensible and prudent management of their finances. But as we can see from the Radz era, the finances probably weren't managed as well as they should have been, or at least the spending on wages probably wasn't spent as well as it should have been. And then finally today, just to wrap up, we're going to talk about Stuart Dallas. Sad news yesterday emerged as Stuart Dallas announced his retirement from football. I think it was something a lot of people saw coming. The broken femur, which we've described for the last 2 years as a car crash injury and a serious injury that would have ended a lot of players' careers a lot sooner. Dallas tried his hardest to come back from it. In his statement yesterday that he released, Dallas mentioned that it was a failure to rehab irreparable damage to his knee, which hadn't been mentioned in the previous injury claims before, which means the injury to the femur must have been further down the leg and caused a twisting of the knee, which may have damaged some serious ligaments in there as well. But irreparable damage to his knee, which means that's the cause of the retirement. Obviously, it goes without saying that we thank Stuart Dallas for everything that he has done for Leeds United. Very much a side before self player. One of my favourite players from the last decade for Leeds United. Never ever complained about playing out of position. Played in nearly every position bar goalkeeper for Leeds, and always gave 100% for Leeds. There was a touch map released yesterday by somebody on Twitter which just showed a pitch that was completely red when talked about how much of the ground he covered during matches. In his statement, he basically thanked the fans, he thanked the club, and he thanked Marcelo Bielsa at length as well for giving him the best footballing years of his career and him playing his best football under Marcelo Bielsa. The club, in their statement about this, and Parag Marate's statement, said that it's not the end of the road for Stuart Dallas at Leeds United, and the club is working to find a position behind the scenes for Stuart Dallas to continue working with Leeds United into the future. Parag Marate, in his statement about Stuart Dallas, said that he is Leeds United. The core values and what he brings to football epitomise what Leeds United is as a club. Dallas himself said that Leeds fans want the players that will work hard for the club because they're hard-working people themselves. And Parag Marate backed that up by saying Stuart Dallas is one of the most hard-working players that the club have, and he epitomises the core values of Leeds United. It's great to see the club trying to look after him and keep him involved in the club. Hopefully he's doing his coaching badges. You look at players that have played under Marcelo Bielsa before and have gone on to have really good coaching careers, and Donny Ariola being a prime example. We've talked about Pep Guardiola and Pochettino, who talk about Bielsa as an influence. You would imagine that some of the players, Gaetano Barati already doing his badges. It hopes Stuart Dallas and Liam Cooper go down the same route as well and can add something to the club going forward into the future as well, and maybe bring some of that Marcelo Bielsa magic back to the club down the line in the future. Liam Cooper, Luke Ayling, Gaetano Barati all took to Instagram along with many others to thank Stuart Dallas for his contributions to the club over the years, and one even came in from Spain as after a man of the match performance from Rafinha for Barcelona and their win over Paris Saint-Germain last night. He posted to his Instagram story saying, "All the best in life, my bro. Thank you for the magic." And as I said, it goes without saying that we say thank you to Stuart Dallas for everything he has done for Leeds United. A model professional, a model pro, and a top bloke. And I hope his retirement is pleasant and he can enjoy putting his feet up for a little bit as well, and hopefully see him involved with Leeds United pitch side in the future moving forward. We're going to have a match day preview tomorrow night with Andrew Stats Dalton leading into the game against Blackburn, which will be a must-win game for Leeds as we approach 4 games left in the season. I will do a match review on Sunday morning. We'll do a tactical breakdown if necessary. I know people have asked me to do more of it. I will, but I will only do it when it's worth pointing out some stuff. If we get a win and it's a cakewalk, there's probably no point in doing it, but we will try and point out a couple of things. If there are requests for that, by the way, if you've got some requests about what you'd like to see, I can probably use my background a little bit on this. Let me know, and I'll try and point out some areas that we've looked at, and we'll try and break down some phases of play and how Leeds play, and give you some answers if you want. Right, that's going to be it for me, folks. Have a cracking rest of your day, and I will be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. See you then.